Hey y'all, it's Crystal. Welcome back. Um, Honestly, I feel a little weird even just making a video today, but I thought maybe I could just use the distraction, even if it's just like 15 minutes or something. I don't know. It's been a week. It's been a week here in the world, in the U.S. in particular. I've been finding it a bit hard to focus on reading. I've read a few things. Mostly I was trying to distract myself, much like making this video. But I thought, let's stay on my routine. Let's put my little video out. Let's, like I said, distract myself. And maybe this can offer someone else a little bit of distraction also. So this is my weekly reading update. What I got into for my reading this week. Finished a few things, but not too much. In the evenings, I definitely have been very distracted and not reading very much, watching a lot of the news, so, not reading a lot in the evenings, so I've been listening to an audiobook, like on my commute back, to and from work, and then I finished a couple of, kind of ebook type situations at, during downtime or on my lunch breaks at work, that kind of thing. And other than that, I've got like a billion other books like started and in progress, and I just can't seem to finish them this week. So, like I said, it's been a week. Well, let's get started for just what I got finished. So, I did finish Garden Spells by Sarah Addison Allen, and honestly, it was a delight. This is my third book by the author, and she definitely has a style of writing. I don't want to say it's not serious, because there are some serious themes in her book, but it also is presented in a very, I don't want to say light way. Light is not what I want, but a soft way. Maybe that's the way. But and this book was no different. This is book one of her Waverly series. I think there's two in that series. And we're following a couple of sisters who, the one sister, ran away from home. They live in a small town in North Carolina, much like a lot of her books are set in a small town in North Carolina. And so the youngest daughter, Sydney, has kind of, once she hit 18, she was out of town. She didn't want to have anything to do with her family name. The Waverlys, they're like this kind of odd bunch of characters in the town and all this kind of stuff. And so her older sister Claire she has been home and kept just stayed in the small town. So Sydney, right in the beginning of the book, we see that she has been in a relationship, and an abusive relationship with a man. She does have a 5-year-old daughter, and one day it's just like, enough is enough, and so she leaves that relationship and heads back home to Bascom. And so Bascom, North Carolina, which is the little fictional little town that this is set in. And so she comes home not really knowing what the reception will be. She and Claire, the older sister, have not had the best relationship, and they've not really kept in touch. They don't really know what the other one has been doing, or all that kind of good stuff. And it kind of all works out, and Claire's like, of course you can stay, and then the daughter, and then we find out about the Waverly family and their little bits of magic, because they all, in some way or another, have a little bit of, we'll call it magic. A lot of it is related to their garden, the magical of flowers and plants that they grow in the garden, and there's a magical apple tree, and it's just a lot of fun. And basically it's just about these sisters coming together and finding their way back to each other, essentially taking care of each other, and it was just really good. It's really tender moments, really sweet moments, some hard moments, emotional at times, a little quirky. Like I said, it has this little bits of kind of magical realism, which is something that this author does and I think does really well. It's again, it's not super heavy, but it's just mixed for just a little kind of quirky story, and I really enjoyed it. I thought it was really lovely, and the characters were just really fun. It's super interesting, very complicated, yet very relatable. Yeah, it was really good. So if you're looking for something that, like I say, is a bit on the lighter side, but has a little bit of quirkiness to it, I would recommend. Like I said, I've read anything by this author so far. I have really enjoyed. So Garden Spells by Sarah Addison Allen. It was a 4-star for me. I enjoyed it. Let's see. I did an audiobook for that, and it was really done. It was done really well. So I picked up a book that I got on NetGalley, and I forgot to look up when this was coming out. It's next month in June sometime. I will either put it here or down below in the description, because I totally forgot to look it up before I started recording. But it's The Pain Eater by Kyle Muntz. And like I said, I got it from NetGalley. I looked at the, the cover drew me in first. I was like, oh, that looks pretty cool. Let's see what this one's about. And then it sounded pretty cool. The description, I was like, okay, let me see if I can get this one approved. And yeah, so I did, and here we are. I'm talking about it. So I'm sorry, I'm feeling a little off today. I'm trying to. We're going through. Okay. I didn't particularly connect with this one too much. So let's just talk a little bit about it. So right there in the very beginning of the book, we've got there are two brothers. We've got Michael, who is 17, and Stephen, who is about 21, 22. He's a recent college graduate. And right there in the beginning of the book, like I said, their father has passed away. And so the funeral is going on right there in the beginning of the book. Their mother comes in, and we discover that, their parents have been divorced for a while. The mother kind of has her own thing, and also is involved with a man at this point. I don't know that they were married or not, so either a stepfather situation, excuse me, or a boyfriend, kind of thing. Anyway, and so as I lost my train of thought. I'm so sorry. So after the funeral, I kind of come back home, and like I said, one of the kids is 17, so he can't really stay home by himself. And so his mom's like, well, I can come and live with you. And we find out that the mother, and particularly the young son, they're not in a good place. They do not have a good relationship. And Michael really, of course, doesn't want her to come live with him. So the oldest son, like I said, he's just out of college, and so he's kind of in that limbo zone. And he's like, you know what? I'll come back home, stay with him for a year until he gets 18, and easy peasy, right? So from there, like I said, the two boys start living together. I don't know how to say too much without spoiling good stuff here. Basically the younger boy, Michael, he what to say, he has found himself somewhat attached to this kind of stray cat that's been coming into the yard. And so he goes and sits outside, waits for the cat to come up, and he feeds them and all that kind of stuff. And then the cat shows up again a few days in a row, and increasingly looks really bad. It looks more hurt and sickly as the days go on. And it's like, dude, what's going on? This cat's ain't doing too good. What's going on here? And so I don't want to say. So something else evolves from this cat, I will say, and is essentially this little creature. And what is alluded to in the cover is this pain eater, and it feeds off of these emotions that these boys have, right? basically this is definitely a story for me. What I took away from it is about dealing with emotions in general. I think we obviously have grief going on with the loss of the father, but then Mike, particularly, well, both boys really, there's this sense of loss, and not just like loss of a family member, but like lost in the world. Like they're kind of like have no real goals, and they're just kind of like I said, lost and not quite sure like how to move forward. There's apathy. They're just like, oh, particularly with the younger boy Michael. He just kind of sits around and watches anime and plays PlayStation all day, and it doesn't necessarily have like goals. And like I said, feeling lost, feeling apathetic, feeling grief, feeling depressed, all of this stuff. And this sort of creature makes him feel better. So, and there's also this, I think probably a parallel to an addiction as well. So the story, I mean, that sounds cool, right? And it was interesting, all of that, because of course it goes from there and it evolves into something a bit more sinister. But for me, I think it was basically just the writing of this story. The writing style completely fell flat for me. I felt it was lost on me. I found bits of it honestly a bit boring. I hate saying that. I really do. Because there were sections that were just like tangents of like, I don't even know what, it would just go off onto these diatribes. Like, I can't even really explain it, because I don't really know how to explain it very well right now, but I found it, I didn't want to finish the book, and I only finished it because I got it from NetGalley, and I wanted to give it justice, to give it, my honest review. Some people will love this book. I can see some people loving it up, down, and sideways. Like it's their thing. For me, and I'm someone who really usually enjoys a slow burn. This was too slow of a slow burn, and it took too many kind of like side trips, off of the main course, and it lost me. It just kind of lost me. So, and none of the characters were likable, and not that I have to have likable characters, but they were like, like I don't know. This was a miss for me, but if it sounds cool, I mean, I never tell nobody not to read a book. I mean, give it a go if you think it sounds interesting. It could totally work for you, of course. I mean, the world would be such a boring place if we all like the same things, So that's The Pain Eater by Kyle Muntz. Again, it's coming out pretty soon. I'll put the information. Give it a go if it sounds interesting to you, though. You never know. Let's see. I picked up a poetry collection next because it was on Kindle Unlimited, and I just, again, had a few minutes at work, right? It's The Field Guide to the Haunted Forest by Jarod K. Anderson, and it was fine. I don't know. I think I was expecting something a little different from this, and I got a little bit of, sometimes a bit hokey, a bit sentimental type stuff. Some of it was really, really nice. Some of it was really good. If you like nature's writing particularly, you'll probably like this collection. If you like inspirational type, you were wanted in this world kind of poetry, you'll love this. I guess it just was not what I was looking for at the time, and it was fine. I don't know, moving on. So just today, it's a little downtime, or Friday, a little downtime at work, I picked up a short story. Sometimes I just kind of scroll through my Kindle app, what do I want to read something? I got something short, got a little time. And so I picked up something that I've had on my Kindle for a couple of years now, and it's just a short story. It is Crows in the Garden by S.R. Miller, and I loved it. I loved this story. It was so good. So we have a woman named Cynthia, And what we find is her husband has passed away, and for about 5 years now. So there's been some time for her, between the loss and kind of where she is right now. And she's kind of gradually kind of moving forward, and she loves to spend time like in her garden. And she's a teacher, and she's on summer break, so she's looking forward to that time in the garden, and looking forward to and she's doing like her teacher planning for the year and that kind of thing. And she's kind of, talked about how she's, dated a few men. She's just moving forward in her own way, right? And she's currently, seeing, a man now and that kind of thing. And pretty soon, like one just sort of random day, this crow kind of shows up in her garden. She's like, I never really see too many crows around here anymore. Her husband was really interested in crows and thought crows were really cool. She's like, but I haven't seen them around much in a while. And interesting, right? This crow though has left her a little gift, and basically the story goes from there. The crow, it becomes crows. So there's lots of crows now, and lots of little gifts. Perhaps a gift that she's finding hard to turn down. And something in the forest. It's really good. It was wonderfully written. I thought it was gorgeous writing, and I don't know. I just thought it really captured, I think, this emotion with Cynthia of having this loss, but then just trying to move on with her life, and then there's this conflict that comes up. There's a little bit of there's some spookiness in there. I just thought it was fantastic. I loved this story, and I have another of his stories on my Kindle, and I'm definitely gonna check that one out. So, yeah, I had a few womps, but my week ended on a very high. That story. Crows in the Garden, 5 stars from me. I thought it was fantastic. So I recommend it if you're looking for just something short, but also wonderfully written, with really interesting character. Cynthia was very cool. I liked her. And just a good atmosphere. Yeah, it was good. So ended the week on a high, at least. I got a couple things in progress, of course. I am close to finishing my poetry collection for this month, the Women in Horror Poetry Anthology. And liking this, I've just got a few left, so I'll finish that up in a few days. I did make a start on the No Anesthetic, the Splatter Inc. Publishing Anthology collection of extreme horror stories. I think I've only read 2 stories, or 3 stories. I read 3 stories, and honestly, like I said, my reading in the evenings, which is when I do my physical with my eyeball reading, it's been off this week, so I haven't gotten in. I just haven't gotten into my stories. So, and the same with this. I just have not been able to get into this week. Chain Letter by Ruby Jean Jensen. It just didn't happen. I was going to finish this book this week, but I can't focus on it right now. And I don't know if I mentioned this last week, but I did start this on audiobook, The Rising Storm by Kevin Scott. The next book of the Star Wars High Republic series. Buddy reading this with Brad Proctor. Enjoying it so far. It's really, really good. It's really good. So, up and down week for reading, but it's fine. I'll show you my Nightworms really quick. I got my Nightworms package. Jawbone by Monica Ojeda. Forgive me if I've said that incorrectly. I love that cover. And another awesome cover. Just like Mother. And Helpful. Ooh, look at the eye. So yeah, that was cool. That's about it. So yeah, but now week. But it's ended on a high with that story, so let me know how your week went for the reading. Do you when there's maybe like a big news event going on or something happening in the world, do you find it hard to focus on reading, or do you find reading kind of helps you, I don't want to say disconnect, that's not the word I'm looking for, maybe offers you a distraction, or what? I find it hard to read. I'm going out of town this weekend and I'm so excited. My husband and I have not gone away, just the two of us, in years. So I'm looking forward to that. There might be a couple of bookstores along the way. Yeah, because we have a 3-day weekend here in the U.S. for Memorial Day, of course, in remembrance of soldiers who, of course, sacrificed their lives for our country. Yeah, that's about it. Remember to vote. Vote for candidates that believe the same things as you do, because it's important. All right. Bye, guys. I hope you're doing well. I really do. Sending you all lots of love. And hug your children tight. Hug your families tight. And your loved ones and your friends. And on that note, I'm going to say goodbye. I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching. Bye, friends.